Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for a new episode of A New Go of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrysanthon, and joining me today is Kristin Peck, who is a Director of Sales and Marketing with Tuskes Homes. Welcome to the show, Kristin. I'm so very excited to have you on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, before we jump in, we have to start with the very big news. You were just named the Women's Leadership Circle Woman of the Year at
Yes.
Jeff Shore Sales and Marketing Leadership Summit. So, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you. Thank
From what I
you.
hear, you were completely surprised. So, take
Completely.
us back to that moment and what went through your head when your name was called.
We were sitting there and Amy came on the stage to announce the award. And what was really going through my head is I'm like, oh, who's in the room? And I was trying to figure out, I was like, it's such a wonderful award, especially for women in this industry. So yeah, that's what was going through my head is I was trying to figure out who in the room was going to get the award. And it was pretty funny because Amy's like dropping this hint, dropping this hint, dropping this hint. I'm still not
Right.
getting it. I'm still not getting it. And it wasn't until the last thing she said, and she teaches Zumba, and you just see this look on my face, like, what? Like, who else teaches Zumba? Just, I was
Of
very
course, you're like, not
surprised.
me.
Yeah, exactly. I was very surprised. I was shocked, but in the most magnificent way.
Well, congratulations again. So very well deserved.
Thank
And
you.
in your post, you said that this award carries special meaning for you as a woman in this industry that's still very
Yeah.
much male dominated. So, what has your experience been as a woman leader in home building, and what does this award really mean to you?
For women in this industry, as we try to navigate our careers, we have our own unique set of circumstances and obstacles that may differ from men. I think we all know women sometimes feel like their voice does not carry as much weight. So for me, the Women's Leadership Award, it is truly about leading, but supporting other women. And that's why it means a lot.
That's amazing. Yeah, it is interesting that the kind of things that we still have to deal with when you walk into the room, how you establish yourself as an authority, where men, that's already given, where for women, we
Yeah.
still have to prove ourselves every single day. So hopefully we're making progress in that, and people like you certainly are helping, and so that our daughters in the future can just walk in the room and everybody assumes that she belongs there and she knows what she's talking about. Right? That's
Exactly. I couldn't have said that better. Exactly.
so, Kristen, you also sat on the panel during the summit along with some other sales leaders. So, talk to me about what that conversation was all about and what was one thing that maybe you personally took away from the event that you already brought back to your team.
We were talking about value purity. And I think in this world that we're in right now, we're not in the easiest market, right? So the quick fix a lot of people are running to are incentives or special discounts or things like that. And by doing that, your customers, your potential buyers are focusing on the number. They're not focusing on the home. They're not focusing on the community. Unfortunately, they're almost interpreting incentive as value. When at the end of the day, they should be looking for the right home in the right community that is going to be best for them. But the shiny objects on the screen are pulling away from what the true perfect home is for what they need. So we talked a lot about that. One thing that we talked about through the entire summit is what does value mean? Because there are so many ways to enhance value before you start throwing out discounts and numbers and devaluing things, right? It's like the opposite. You're devaluing. So I got to sit next to two really great leaders, and it was great having conversations with them and what everybody's doing. So I think a big takeaway is inspecting things and doing audits and really going back and diving deep and making sure that the value on your homes, how they're presenting itself online, all the way through follow up, making sure it's where it needs to be before you start looking at discounting anything.
Yeah, you're so right. When you lean in to that discount conversation, our home buyers coming in through the door and they're falling in love with your homes, and then you bring them back to reality with the numbers right away. If you're starting to talk discounts and special incentives and this and that, and it becomes so transactional as opposed to like allowing them to fall in love with the home itself. And then how can we help get you into this home better is the secondary conversation.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. You just have to backtrack and restart when they come through the door. So,
Yeah. It's so much harder to do that backtracking versus if you start that from the beginning, right? So
exactly.
so for you guys
Exactly.
listening out there who are leaning in with your incentives, and that's the first thing out of your mouth, probably rethink that.
Hmm.
Now, Kristen, you've been part of Shore community for a while now. So for listeners who are maybe on the fence about investing money in that type of training or community, can you talk to us about what has it actually done for you personally and for your career?
Absolutely. I love this conversation. And if somebody's on the fence, Anya, send them my way. I'll be more than happy to push them off because we can have a conversation. It's brought so much value to my life. So I have gone through the Women's Leadership Circle with Amy O'Connor. I've also gone through the Sales Leadership Roundtable with Jeff Shore. So I've done both. So I've been a part of both of those communities. And I did Roundtable first. Tuskes Homes is a smaller builder. And sitting in this director of sales and marketing position, sometimes I felt like I was in my own island,
Mm.
right? And I had worked for larger builders in years past, but I'm on this island and I'm like reaching out to old friends and I'm like, I would love to have this network of people that I could collaborate with and bounce ideas off of or go to when I'm going through something to see if somebody else has been going through something. So I was yearning for that. And so I went to Roundtable and it was such an amazing year. And I have such an incredible network from that to this day. And it's not just the year that you go, you just become part of this whole group.
Right.
And then when it's leadership just built on that, just built on that so much because I needed that network of leaders in the industry. But then again, going back to women's leadership, Amy O'Connor has done this amazing job of just creating this tribe of women that just support each other. I'm their biggest cheerleader, they're my biggest cheerleader, and we all help navigate each other through different circumstances. I can't speak enough about it. It's done a lot for me professionally, but it's done a lot for me personally too. If you're trying to find your way, these programs will help you get there, and the tribe in these programs to help support you will get you there.
That's amazing. That's always something that stood out to me when I attend the Jeff Shore Summit, Leadership Summit, is that moment when he has everyone come up on stage who were part of the circle. So it's all the
Yeah.
alumni. Every time I'm like, oh, that stage is gonna break. Like
It's a big
it's
group
so
up there.
full, but it is amazing that yeah, you're not just there for a year. It is a network of people that you can use, pick up a phone and be like, hey, I'm in this situation, have you dealt with this before? And you're not in competing markets necessarily, right? So you have the perspective of somebody else who's been that, done that. So
Yeah.
that is just invaluable, and I'm sure you feel the same way as me. Some of my best friends are people from this industry now because we've been
Yeah.
coming to the same conferences over and over again, and you see each other, and it just naturally happens that you end up with those relationships that are like, hey, we're work friends, but like you're my best friend,
Exactly.
you know?
And one other thing to just mention with that, I mean, I'm talking about the collaboration and the people that support you through it, but all change comes with a little discomfort, right? If you want to grow. And I will tell you, both Jeff and Amy have no problem putting you into positions that are going to help you grow, but they really do challenge you. They challenge you to step outside your box in different ways so that you are able to grow. And again, like I said, but it's both personally and professionally. So the curriculum, for lack of a better way of saying it, that they bring to the table is intense, but it's so worthwhile. And it just makes such a huge difference for you as a whole person.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I can personally attest to that because I've been part of Women's Leadership Circle as a speaker for a few years in a row now. So they always bring me in to talk about what's going on in technology and where it's heading in home building. So you guys, I can personally attest to the kind of women that are part of that, the kind of topics you're getting exposed to. So I will be sure to link both information on just Jeff Shore as well as all the programs, as well as Women's Leadership Circle in this podcast, so you guys can easily find it and talk to Kristin if you need a little nudging along. So I'm sure you'll be happy to chat with them about that. Now,
Yeah.
let's back up a little bit because we typically start our podcast with your life story. So Give us your life story. How did you
My
get into
life
home
story.
building? And what was the path to director of sales and marketing
Mm.
like for you?
So I'll shorten my life story quite a bit here, otherwise we'll be here for a long time. But my pivot into new home building. So I've been in this industry for over 20 years. Prior to this industry, I had a former life as a flight attendant for United Airlines.
Oh, I have no idea
So
about that.
I was with United and I flew out of Newark, and I was flying with United when 9/11 happened. At the time, I was a young mom. I have three children that were born within 2 years of each other, and at the time they were all very, very small. So I needed to just kind of do some self-reflection and make some changes that were best for not only my family, but my mental health at that time. And I always had a love for real estate, and I was like, well, here's your shot. Let's try this out. So I went and got my real estate license and I started putting my name in all sorts of hats. Wasn't quite sure where I was going to end up. And I was extremely fortunate to get a position right out of the gate with a pretty large home builder. So I was very fortunate from day one. And then my path, that fortune just kind of kept going through. I'm so grateful of all of the mentors that I've had throughout my career. I've learned so much from so many different people. I always say everything happens for a reason. These people were all put in my path for me to be able to learn from them. I've been in sales. I've also been a regional sales trainer for a national builder. And many times in my career, I would kind of pivot as to what was best for my kids. Went back into sales and started in sales here with Tuskes Homes and just kept putting myself out there a little bit more like, hey, can I help with this? Hey, can I do this? Kept stepping out of the box. And the transition just kind of happened to director of sales and marketing. So that's how I
Oh,
got here.
bravo. Sometimes you got to pave your own way, right?
Yeah, and again, I was just very fortunate with the steps that were put in front of me. This is for anyone. You have to look at the steps that are in front of you and you have to notice when they're there and take advantage and learn. And whether it's tough times or good times, you're always going to learn.
Oh, absolutely. I think in tough times, you're probably going to learn a little
Correct.
more than you
Correct.
learn smooth sailing. It's a trial by fire over here.
Trial by fire, yeah. When people are like, it's tough, I'm like, this is not tough, right? So, but again, long time in the business.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about Tuskes Homes. What do you guys build? Where do you build? Who's your ideal customer?
So we are in northeastern Pennsylvania. We're a little over an hour from Philly and an hour from New York. So we're in this central hub location. But we really centralize ourselves to just this area is called the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania, and then up north into Pocono, Luzerne County areas, if anybody's familiar with that. But we don't really go out of our bubble too much from that. Tuskes Homes, it's a fourth generation builder, family builder. And for us, it's really important to give back to the community as well. So we stay in the Lehigh Valley and just north of here. One of our mottos is we live here, we give here. It's important for us to reinvest into the communities where we build, where our kids go to school, not just our buyers' kids. So we're all very involved locally. And I think that's a huge advantage for us too. Being a smaller builder, we're also able to kind of pivot. Our buyers, we have first time buyer townhomes available. We also have estate homes available. So we do a little bit of everything across the buyer spectrum, but location is key for us. We stay here.
Yeah, nice. And you guys are nicely located. I'd imagine you get a lot of New York people there
Yeah,
also.
we do.
Yeah.
Again, anybody who's from the Northeast, we're right off 78 and 80. So yes,
Yeah.
we do get a lot of influx from New York and New Jersey coming over and a lot of relocation. It's a huge health network area.
Mhm.
So we get a lot of relocation here as well.
Yeah. So, Kristen, what are you seeing with your buyers? How has their behavior changed, say, over the last couple of years? Didn't you notice any shifts with them?
I talk about this sometimes with my sales team, and I've heard this across the board from other builders and just talking to people. The buyers are harder now, or they're taking longer. And I don't know if that's necessarily it. I just think that buyers are becoming more educated. And then with today's technology, they're really doing the research ahead of time, right? But they're also used to getting instant gratification. So, meaning getting answers quickly. So, I think today's buyers, it's not necessarily that they're that different, they're just equipped with more. But the problem with that is also they're equipped with a lot of information, like a lot, it's information overload sometimes. So I think our role is to help them navigate that information because that information could also be misconstrued. It might not be correct, and that could be for us, for competition, whatever it is. And if you're not clear on your messaging up front, so whether that be marketing or sales, you could lose that buyer. You could lose that buyer before they even walk in the door. So going back to today's buyer is extremely informed, but the downside to that is there's information overload as well. So therefore, they're just looking at a lot more things before making a decision.
For sure. Have you started doing research on ChatGPT or Claude or whatever LLM you use where to see what buyers are searching for and what's coming back? So I know a lot of marketing directors are now saying like, oh, these buyers told us that they found this about us on LLM. And it's like, how do we correct that information or how do we feed that? So are you starting to hear things like that more so now?
It's funny, I haven't heard it in a while, but we have done that. Just go ahead and go in and like type it in because at the end of the day, if the buyers are typing it in, you need to know what's coming up.
Yeah.
So and that's where it comes in with AI, as we know, it's not always the best source of truth. So it's great information, but check your facts. So it is important to go through and do those audits and make sure that whatever's coming up is correct.
Yes. So, how much would you say of your buyer's journey is actually happening online now before they ever talk to your sales team? And how has that really changed how you think about your digital presence as a whole?
I think they're doing the majority of the shopping online. And then it's up to the sales team to keep it going from there. There's a couple things with that. They're doing their shopping online, and most of them are starting broader scope and then narrowing it down. So I think it's really important as builders, we not only need to look and see what we are doing online and making sure that we're putting ourselves in the best light, right? And making sure everything is clear, concise, attractive. But you also need to see what your competitors are doing
Hmm.
because they're going out and they're shopping online and they're looking at everything. So you need to really have a grasp of all of that. But I would say, especially when you're looking at budgeting your marketing dollars up front, is extremely important to make sure that your front page, for lack of a better way of saying that, your front page being your website, Zillow, all of those things, the MLS, if you're using the MLS, your photos are up to date, your information is accurate. And again, going back to accurate, attractive, but also make it clear. Don't make it confusing. A confused prospect is not going to come in because they don't know what you have. So you need to just make sure everything is clear, concise, attractive, and then easy. Make it easy for them to talk to somebody as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting because now with LLMs too, it's so important to be moving away from that marketing speak that like, when you read a sentence or two and as a human, you're like, aha, it makes sense. But if you give it to a machine, it's like you really didn't say anything here. It's just marketing talk. It's just like a bunch of fluff that could be applicable to any builder here. So
Yeah.
you're so right. It's like make it concise, make it clear, make it answer your buyer's questions. They can look at it and understand what's in front of them right away and not be
Yeah.
a big mystery to them.
Buyers want transparency too right now.
Yes.
All right. So buyers want transparency. One of the things that we talk about at Tuskes Homes is we don't advertise incentives. Okay. Our price is our price. That is it. We don't advertise our incentives. We're very transparent with our pricing and we price our homes according to what the market value is. With that being said, I think buyers do appreciate that. They appreciate the transparency, but that goes with everything, right? They want to answers up front. And again, they depending on what those answers are, they're going to try to fact check it too. So they just want it to be simple, easy, correct, and transparent.
Absolutely. I think as a buyer, just thinking about my own personal experiences, like if I don't know what the price is up front, I don't know if I would invest any time in trying to call somebody or certainly not getting in my car and driving somewhere. So it is crazy to me where people are still putting so many gates ahead of them. And it's like, no, we can't tell you this, we can't tell you that. It's, yeah, just a frustrating experience myself on Friday. I was looking for grocery shopping service, and one of the sites that I came across that was advertising lower prices than everywhere else but it's a membership model, and I couldn't see the prices until I joined the membership, and it's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, like how am I supposed to like
Wait, I have to join, then you're going to tell me how much I'm going to
right. Like
spend?
I'd like to know ahead of time that like is
No,
this right or not?
that's
So I was like,
backwards.
that's a very interesting way to do it. So
Well, and I think part of that too, and this again goes back to the whole value equation. Most builders nowadays have OSCs or a team of OSCs.
mhm.
And I think another part of that transparency too is okay, you put all of this stuff out here, but there's a couple of details that I can't find. I have questions.
Right.
So who can I contact for questions? And this is huge to have somebody who gets back to them in a very timely fashion because you'd be surprised how many times that doesn't happen.
Oh,
And
I'm not surprised at all. I think it doesn't happen most of the time.
there you go. And if it's me and I'll get easily distracted. I'll be like, nobody's getting back to me. I'm going to go to the next web page and see if somebody will talk to me there. That's a missed opportunity. So you need to make sure not only is that whole front page looking great, your website and everything else, but also making sure that there is someone ready and available to be able to answer those questions for the things that are not there.
Yes, as great as technology is, I think in this business, it's such a personal business and it's
Yes.
such a deep business that as experts, we take it for granted every single day that we know
Hmm.
all this jargon and we use the jargon and we expect our clients to keep up with it. But it's like, no, you're speaking completely foreign language to them. Most people have not bought a house, or it was a long time ago that they bought their house. So all the PMIs and the numbers you're throwing out at them, it's like, you might as well be speaking another language. So yes,
Exactly. I have no
100%
idea
with
what
you
you're
on
saying.
transparency there. And speaking of transparency, Tuskes
Yeah.
Homes is an Inugo client, so we want to be
Yes.
transparent here as well. And you guys use our marketing app. So can you talk to me about how does the interactive design experience fit into your buyer journey?
We'll start with the sales end of things. Okay.
Mhm.
So, from the sales end of things, there is so much stuff to be looking at, walking through for buyers. And let's just face it, not all of it is fun. Okay. It's just not. Financing, well, I don't know, maybe for some people it's fun. It's not fun for me. All the paperwork and details that might go along with it. And this app gives them something really fun to do. It helps them take this vision of what they think their home is going to look like and bring it to life. And I think it's really important with such an important decision with your buyers, adding some fun and flair to the process. And this is such an easy way to do it that's also productive because they're preparing themselves to move forward and get ready for design.
Yes. Yes. Infuse that fun experience. Yeah, give them something to do, right? It's so much easier as a consumer to evaluate something where it's visually ready, available, and you can exclude yourself from that. You can say, no, not for me. Or, yeah, this really resonates for me. Show me more like that. What's great about the app is that it is visual, and our industry is visual, and a lot of times
Yes.
we expect our customers to know what is a contemporary, what is craftsman. Like I have a vague idea what craftsman is, but I don't know. But if I see it, I can definitely tell you what I like or what I don't like. So yeah, I agree with
Well,
you.
and the other thing, I always laugh, and whether it's your siding, your roof color, your stone, whatever, the companies name them like Crayola crayons. So if a color, I'm just making one up, but if a color is saddleback, how's a customer supposed to know what a saddleback looks like, right?
Yeah,
So there are all these really cool names, but what does that actually look like? So it also helps, like you said, go to the visual. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is what it's going to look like put together. And then, like I said, adds a little fun and flair to a process that sometimes can be a little stressful.
for sure. I definitely remember my days working in the model home, and on a Saturday, God forbid, my client who bought the house comes in already with the design decisions. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Anya, what did you think about this? If we put this and together, and it's like tiny little like swatches of siding and this and that. And it's like, I think it looks good, but yeah, it's so hard to visualize that siding on a huge house. It's
Yeah.
completely different. And I mean, even kitchens, right? It's that's where the heart of the home is. You're going to see your house exterior every single day. You're going to walk into that kitchen every single day. So if it doesn't exactly add up like you expected, I've been
Yeah.
in some of those situations where it's like they thought it was going to look great, and then not so great
Not
afterwards.
so great.
Yeah, so it's nice to
Yeah.
have something to show you how great it is actually, or not great. So, Kristen, when you're evaluating new technology for Tuskies, I can imagine that you're getting pitched a lot as a builder, right? Any show you go to, there's all this new technology. So, how do you decide what's actually worth it and what's just a noise?
I do speak with different companies, and for me, it's about return on investment. And return on investment doesn't always mean financial either. Your return on investment is show me how this is going to solve a problem. Show me how this is going to help me get more sales, or show me how this is going to enhance the buyer experience. And if you can't show me at least one of those things, then it's probably not a product for me. There's a lot of really cool, shiny products out there, but if it can't do one of those things, then I'm investing in what?
Right.
So for us, we'll sit down as a team even and evaluate, okay, what is this product going to do for us as a company and for our buyers? But that's how I evaluate it. And then, of course, whatever the cost of that product is has to make sense with whatever we see that return or that value coming out of it.
Yeah. So where does AI fit in all of that right now? Does it matter to you when somebody's saying, well, it's AI versus not AI? Is there anything on your radar that you're watching for, or are you skeptical? How do you feel about it?
Well, I think AI is definitely the buzzword right now too, right? And it's at warp speeds. I do like an AI aspect. There's different platforms where you have AI assistants to help answer questions that are very simple questions that get asked over and over again. And a lot of times it can handle that. I think, again, it goes back to being able to create visuals for people, which if you have an application that is going to be accurate with that AI, then that makes a difference. Versus if I throw a bunch of stuff into Chat GPT that has nothing to do with home building and I say put it together and maybe it's a bunch of colors in a kitchen and I'm like, well, it kind of looks like it, but there's like three sinks in the kitchen, right? And like, it's like, okay, something's off here. So I think having some sort of a platform that is still AI, but more accurate for them to play with. I use AI a lot with just helping me with, I'll say, day-to-day stuff, putting a lot of the administrative stuff together. But at the end of the day, I don't take whatever Claude or ChatGPT gives me and just put it out there. I still have to go back and proof all of it and probably adjust a lot of it. It just saves time with the formatting. So I think my thought on is with AI is if the product that you can have AI integrated with facts, if that makes sense, then I think it's like I said, answering questions that are frequently asked questions, or with the Nugo, if you already have the colors, you know what it's looking like. I can help put things together. I love that. Other AIs, I'm a little bit cautious over because, again, if it's not 100% accurate, you just have to be cautious.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point that general AI is great for some things, but it's not necessarily great for home building. And so I think
Right.
in the future, what we're going to see is a rise of very specialized AI. So in the future, it's not just like how you can use AI, but it's do you have the expertise behind that? And how do you apply that to your specific industry to actually get the right answers? Because if it's just everything, it's just going to be a bunch of hogwash and doesn't really make sense.
Right,
So,
exactly. You're rolling the dice.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Kristen, for people who are listening to this and maybe they're earlier in their career, and especially maybe if they're women, do you have any advice if somebody's trying to get into leadership?
So I mentioned earlier that I have three children. Two of those children are daughters, and they're in their 20s now. And it's funny, if you ask my kids what my motto was to them growing up, is that you're not entitled to anything that you didn't work for.
Mm.
If you work for it, then you're entitled to it. But I think understanding what that means. So if you want a seat at the table, start working for that seat at the table. And what does that mean? Don't take the easy route, right? So we talked about it before, the hard times, the harder puzzles, right? Those are where you learn. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. Find a network of people that really bring you up and that push you to be a better version of yourself. respect the people around you, respect the experience around you, and learn from all of those people. Obviously, this is a very integrated industry, right? At some point, we all meet each other, know each other, whatever. So whenever you get the opportunity, just put yourself in positions that are going to help you grow.
Yeah.
So whether that's meeting new people, stepping out of your comfort zone, taking on the hard tasks, but again, your leadership skills are automatically going to start evolving because of what you're surrounding yourself with and what you're diving into.
Great advice. I love that you addressed the whole entitlement of things, right? I feel like this new younger generation, they seem to think, oh, I'm gonna come out and start making 500 grand a year. And it's like, buddy, like you need some experience first, right? We need to work up to that. So yeah, great advice. But finding those opportunities where maybe other people are not feeling confident and you may not feel confident. I mean, in the
No,
beginning, nobody's feeling confident, right? If you
no,
haven't
I
done
wasn't
that,
confident in the beginning,
yeah,
but you're like, okay, well, let's do this. Let's figure it
yeah,
out.
yeah.
And Anya, the other part of that too is putting yourself into those situations. I think you really gain a high level of respect to the people around you, which is huge.
Yes, absolutely. When people see that you're taking initiative, you are pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
people notice that. So next time there's an opportunity, guess what? You're going to be in that short list.
Mhm.
All
Correct.
right. So what's next for you, Kristen? What's next for Tuskes Homes? Is there anything you're particularly excited about for the rest of 2026?
So 2026, we have some activity happening in 2026. We're in a really good position. We have one or two more communities that we're going to be opening this year, but 2027 is a huge growth year for us. So I would say all of us on the sales and marketing front, especially, we're really excited for what's to come. So right now we are excited for what's in 2026, but we're really ramping up for what's going to happen in 2027. So very exciting. And yeah, we're having fun with it.
Nice. So, Kristen, if somebody wants to connect with you personally, where do you hang out on social media? Tell us. And then if somebody wants to learn more about Tuskes Homes and if there's any maybe career opportunities in the future, what's the website?
All right. So our website is tuskeshomes.com. So tuskeshomes.com. Super simple. Any career opportunities, if it's sales and marketing, you just come directly to me. There's nothing on our website, so you would just come to me. But outside of that, yeah, I'm on all your normal socials. So LinkedIn, obviously, and Facebook. Those two, I'm just under my name. Find my name, you'll find me there. I'm on Instagram as well, but it's more for
Nice.
fun stuff.
So, you guys, I will link all of that so that you can connect with Kristen afterwards and ask her all your burning questions. And again, I'll make sure I link all of the activities, all of the groups for Jeff Shore as well in there so you can learn exactly where Kristen grew up, right? In
There you
LA.
go. That's a good way to put it.
Kristen, thank you so very much for being a guest on today's show. I really, really appreciate you sharing your insights with us. There's just so many valuable nuggets that our audience can take away, whether it's from what you brought back from the Shore experience or just generally what's going on with the buyers right now and their expectations. So thank you for that. And I'm sure I'm going to be looking for you at the next airport.
I was going to
We
say
always
yes.
seem to intersect. I live outside of Philadelphia too, so usually we're on that flight either going to a conference or heading back from a conference with all of our
Waiting.
bags trying to get Uber late night. So it's always fun to see you.
Correct. Correct. So I will see you soon for sure.
Yes. Until then, bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.